Joining us now is Kim Ives. He is the English language contributing editor for Haiti Liberté. Kim, thanks so much for being with us.
Thank you, Michael. Good to be with you.
So, Kim, you have this piece that we're going to get to in The Intercept that you co-wrote with Matthew Cole in a minute. U.S. mercenaries arrested in Haiti were part of a half-baked scheme to move $80 million for an embattled president. But before we get there, we've been covering, to the extent it's possible on this show, both the fact that there is has been a serious uprising in Haiti, the fact that this is an uprising that implicates the entire political order there in the sense that we can understand it, and of course then implicates the ongoing colonial extractive U.S. relationship, Canadian relationship to Haiti, and everything from finance to sweatshop labor to all sorts of other areas of the inequities and structural hierarchies of that relationship. Can you bring us up to speed on what's happening in Haiti now from the perspective of those movements and the broader political economic situation there?
Well, the big picture is that Haiti has been in a crisis for a while, but it's really become acute in these last few months. The crisis was really forestalled for a decade or so by, ironically, the Venezuelan government of Hugo Chavez, who provided Haiti back in 2006. It wasn't actually sort of implemented until 2008 with a thing called the Petro-Caribe Accord, whereby Haiti got cheap oil and great credit to pay it back. It only had to pay 60% up front and 40% was payable over 25 years at 1% interest. So this was a tremendous boon to Haiti, and this fund that 40% went into became just an ATM for the government to meet a lot of its needs. And this was Chavez's vision, was that we have to break the back of the Bretton Woods framework, where it's the IMF and World Bank and Inter-American Development Bank and USAID, which give the neo-colonies all their capital with lots of strings attached, and instead have South-South cooperation and have Haiti begin to be able to decide its own destiny and its own path of development. Well, unfortunately, Chavez's coup, we could say, was met by Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton's coup, and they brought into power in 2010, about 2 years after the accord went online, the regime of Michel Martelly, who was a neo-devaluerist and very U.S.-centric, and began to essentially plunder this fund, and about $2 billion disappeared. So,
can you just give us two? So one, we've talked about on the show, but give us again just a quick definition of when you say he was a neo-devaluerist, and then also very specifically, what role did Hillary Clinton? She's Secretary of State then. That's clear, but then also Bill Clinton. What role did they play in the Martelly government rising to power? And is this the WikiLeaks disclosures from the time that we know this about? Like what's the basis for that?
Well, yeah, some of it came out via WikiLeaks, which when they provided Haiti Liberté with the 2000 documents which were Haiti related. But just to define devaluerist, Jean-Claude Duvalier left power in 1986, 33 years ago. His father, Francois Papadoc Duvalier, and Jean-Claude, who was known as Baby Doc, ruled Haiti for about 3 decades, from 57 to 86, with iron fists. They had a very effective dictatorship whose eyes, ears, and fists were the Tonton Macoutes, a paramilitary force of some renown internationally. And the regime was run out of town in 86, and Jean-Bertrand Aristide was then elected in 1990, 5 years later. And that began a period of what we could say Haiti's first steps towards democracy. But they were immediately met with coups d'etats and military occupations from the U.S. primarily. So the tail end of this, 33 years, of course we're skipping over this pretty fast, was the tail end of this 2.5 decade, we could call it democratic chapter, even though it was interrupted by coup d'etat, had Hillary Clinton essentially come down and intervene in the elections that were presided over by a president called René Preval, who had been sort of an Aristide ally at some point and was sort of Aristide light, if you will. And he had his sort of protege in the runoff in 2010. Hillary Clinton came down on January 30th, 2011, right in the middle of the Arab Spring, and read him the Riot Act and said, you got to take your guy out and put Michel Martelly in, which, as was his wont, Preval did. All during that period leading up to that, Bill Clinton had been more or less the commissar of Haiti, as the bursar, if you will, the treasurer of the $13 billion which the world gave Haiti after the 2010 earthquake. So the two of them were very instrumental in bringing the Martelly regime into power. Right. And as I say, this Martelly regime ended up being the government that basically chopped the legs out from under the Petro-Caribe vision that Hugo Chavez had had.
You've just watched a Michael Brooks show video, and you can watch all of our full main live shows every Tuesday night at around 7 p.m. Eastern Time, and subscribe to get all of the clips you want. We're covering the globe. We're focusing on international relations, the intellectual dark web. We're having fun. We're doing deep dives with a lot of amazing guests. Of course, become a patron for the whole thing at patreon.com/TMBS, or subscribe to this YouTube channel and help us keep growing and get that content out there. Subscribe below.